As per request, I am doing a turret that rotates as the character or enemy moves around it. So originally they wanted me to do this for the tower defense tutorial, but I think it's pretty easy to add it in. Kind of just do it the same way we did by adding the AoE tower in there and just incorporate all the different little parts into it. But this makes it so that people who are still like looking for this sort of thing can also just do this tutorial and not have to look at any other tutorials having to do with the tower defense stuff. So yeah, let's get started here. Let's create a blueprint class, and I'm gonna do a type pawn here, and I'm gonna call this BP underscore turret, I guess. So turret, and let me pull this out a little bit. Let's see, what do we want to start with? I'm gonna just create the turret itself. So let me get a cylinder here. Ooh, man, let me reduce the amount of sensitivity. If you right click or hold down your right click and do the scroll wheel, you can change how quickly you move through the space. You can see it up here in this corner. You could also change it by clicking on this. It's the camera speed. So let me just move it here, and let me scale this down a bit. All right, that's fine. All right, so we have that, and then I'm just going to add a sphere. Reduce this down a bit. I'm going to try to keep the same style of stuff we have already. This is to kind of show you how the thing itself works. But I'm going to try to keep the same style of floating orb that I do in my tower defense tutorial stuff. Then let me grab a... Do we not have a cylinder? There we are. Let me scale this down. Angle this a bit. Maybe this, grab this little arrow here. How's that look? That looks like something. You can turn off grid snapping by clicking that thing. And sure. That looks kind of goofy, doesn't it? So we did that. So I want to change this. No, I'm going to leave it. So we have that. So now what we want to do is we want to create a scene component that we can add to the end of this. And this is what we're going to be using to spawn the projectiles. So let me get a scene component. And let me click here. So this is where I want to spawn the projectiles. And let me actually break this off from the rest of everything else. So if I drag this back to the cylinder, it'll take it off of this cylinder so that it's not attached to it. Because I want the head to move independently of the rest of the body. So that should be good. Now we need something to actually detect whether there are players or whatever you're going to have this thing shooting at around it. So we're just going to add a sensing component. Let's see, sensing, a pawn sensing. And so right now it's going to be angled, I believe. So the peripheral vision right now is set to 90 degrees, so it can see out 90 degrees from the front part. So if you just set this to 180, it can get a full 360 degrees around the turret because it's peripheral angle. So starting from here outward, so 180 would be all the way back to the back. So if you add 180 plus 180, it gives you 360. So that should be good. I don't think I need to do anything else here. Yeah, it's fine. So we got that. Now I'm just going to create the bullet right now, which will just be a circle, I guess, or a sphere, I should say. And I'm just going to get an actor, BP underscore projectile. What did I add? Oh, I added a fat fingering it. BP projectile. All right. So I don't even need the event graph for this. I just need to create the sphere. And then if you wanted to add collision on this to create damage, you just add a collision, not a collision, is it? Yeah, it is you'd add sphere collision on this, and then you'd center it around this thing. So if I maximize this, then you just do apply damage if it crosses with whatever it is you're shooting at. So yeah, I'm not going to do the whole add. If it intersects, do the collision thing. But yeah, that's how you set it up. Maybe I will. We'll see. So let's see. The actual sphere thing, we need to remove collision on so it doesn't knock your player every time it shoots at you. So for collision, just get a no collision. And then the sphere will automatically, I believe, have overlap all dynamic. So you can still have overlap events. That's fine. I need to add some projectile logic on this. So if you just look up projectile movement, you can just click on it, and I think it starts with 0 velocity, so it's not going to do anything. So you need to put like 10,000 on there or something crazy. What is that? That's 1,000. 10,000. And 10,000 seems like a huge number, but for these bullet things, you need quite a bit of collision to make them move the right way. I'm going to leave gravity and everything on. There's a lot of cool things in this if you want to check it out. They got like homing projectiles and all this other stuff. So let me compile and save that. That should all be fine. So next, let's just do the turret part, and then we should be done. I might create a character to show you it attacking an enemy character and stuff, or how easily to change it, but I'm going to have it just target me right now just for testing purposes. So actually I don't want to event begin play. Actually just want to do on pawn sensing, and then we can just do on C pawn. Then we can do all the logic we need. So I'm just going to cast for this. There's ways to get around casting, but I'm just going to do it for this thing. So cast to BP third person character, which is my character. All you'd have to do is change whatever you're trying to cast it to in order to make it attack that thing. So I want this to do two things. So the first thing I want it to do is to be able to aim at the enemy, and the other thing I want it to do is be able to shoot. So I'm just going to create a sequence here. So the first thing we want to do is set the rotation of the actual turret itself. So I'm going to set relative rotation of, what did I call it? I just called it cylinder 1. Maybe I should really rename these things. So I want to actually set the rotation of the sphere. One thing I didn't do is actually check to see and make sure this is on the x-axis. So let me actually rotate this. I'm just going to have it straight down the x-axis. Sorry, let me see this. That's y. Actually, I have to move this around. Let me rotate this so that it's, because then otherwise I'd have to make some micro changes, and I don't feel like doing that. Oh my gosh, I'm doing really bad. Scene should still be attached to this because I have it attached on this graph thing, so it'll just follow it around. All right, so did that. Let's split this. So I'm splitting the structure pin because I just want the Y and the Z for the relative rotation. Because when you look at the sphere over here, and I hit these angle things, this is my Z and this is my Y. So I just wanted to angle it Z and Y. I don't need it to rotate its whole head sideways. So let me adjust. I'm gonna interpret. So I'm doing a R interp, and what this does is it creates kind of like a smoothing motion between the things. So let me split this structure pin so we can get the Y and the Z, because that's all we're trying to change here. So what this is going to do is going to create a smoothing effect between the transitions. So instead of just teleporting its head at something, it's going to do more of a gradual turn. So if I take this and I give it an orb, what did I call it? Cylinder, not orb. Cylinder. I'm gonna go with a relative rotation on this. So relative rotation. Sorry, I wasn't trying to add relative rotation. I'm trying to get the relative rotation. Get relative rotation, and I'm just gonna add that onto the current. And then the target is going to be this thing. So let me get the actor location. So what I'm doing here, I should explain this a little bit better, is I'm getting the rotation of the cylinder and I'm getting the rotation of the actor, and the rotation from the current position to the target is what I'm interpreting and interping, so that there is more of a smoothing motion in between those two things. So let me Control D to duplicate. I'm just duplicating the cylinder here, or you can just drag this cylinder onto here. Doesn't really matter. And let me get the world rotation of the cylinder here. And we're just going to do the find look. Okay, let me get this. Oh, I put rotation, not location. Get world location. So now I can find look. I keep pressing find. All right, find look at rotation. So we got the look at rotation, hook this up here, attach this here, and now the delta time is just going to be how much time get get world. Oh my gosh. Get world delta seconds. So this is, it'll explain it right in here. Return the frame delta time in seconds adjusted by time dilation. And then we can interpret the speed here. I actually don't need to drag off of this. I can just put it in the box. I don't know what a good interp speed. So 0 is essentially, if you had it 0, you would just be teleporting. This wouldn't do anything if you didn't put any time in here. So 200 would be slower, if that makes sense to you. Oh yeah, it says right here. Interpolation speed. If the speed given is 0, then jump to the target. Okay, so that should be fine for actually setting the rotation. I'm gonna test it real quick to make sure this works, and then fix any errors accordingly. That is tiny. That's really, really tiny. Okay, well. And it's following me around, it's aiming at me. If I jump, it aims up. Wait, what? If I get close to it, it's aiming up. That means it's looking at the wrong scene component. The relative location. Cylinder. Oh, it's because I'm getting the world rotation of cylinder 1. So cylinder 1, or sorry, I'm getting the one of the cylinder. So this is why I should name things. The cylinder at the base, the area where it's kind of like its base position is, or maybe I should just do this. So if I go to the viewport here and I hit the cylinder, you can see that the position of the actual thing is in the center of the thing, so it's not up here. So if I get close to it, it's going to see my location in relation to it is higher. So it's going to be looking, it's going to move the whole turret up. So what I need to do is actually get the, I don't even know why I did cylinder. I should be doing sphere, because this is where I want it to be. All right, so let me do this instead. Let me get rid of both of these and let me get the sphere. All right, I can just do this. Compile and save, and let me take a look, hitting play. And now once I go up to it, it'll aim at me, which my core center is right in my stomach. So that's why it's aiming at my stomach. All right, so that's working. That's working fine. Good enough. All right, let's do this, and let's do a retriggerable delay. So it'll just keep firing over and over again. 0.2, we do 0.1. Have it really rapidly shoot, and then I'm going to spawn the actor of class, from class. And that actor is going to be the projectile we just created. Projectile. And then let us take off of this, and we're going to, let me just grab the scene component. We're going to work the other way. Get transform, get relative transform, get world transform. Compile and save. And let us hit play. And it shoots it completely sideways. Why does it shoot it completely sideways? Probably because my scene component on the turret is sideways. And it is. So Let me break it off of this real quick so it doesn't rotate my entire turret with it. And just gotta rotate this a little bit. Oops, I grabbed the wrong thing. Grab the scene, rotate it 90 degrees this way. Make sure that it's there, and there it is. So compile and save that. And now it should fire straight. It did not fire straight. Wait, what the heck? Wait, let me try this again. Firing straight behind it. Oh, because I know. One dumb mistake after another. You got to remember to reattach the seam component to the cylinder. And there we go. And now it's shooting at me as I'm moving around it. So yeah, should I create a separate enemy just to show you how to attach it to an enemy? I mean, all you'd have to do is go to the event graph and you change this to the enemy that you're changing it to. I mean, that's the turret right there. So you can change a ton of things with that. Change the projectile, change the turret, obviously, but this is the logic for how you'd get it to have the thing rotate towards whatever it is you're trying to get it to rotate to. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I might just do a little additional stuff, but if you want to stop right there, just you can go. Like, I'm just gonna create a enemy for it to shoot at. So let me create a character, BP underscore enemy. Double click here. I'm gonna create SKM Manny. Bring you down here. Oh, I did not lock this. Rotate you. Oops. 90. And let us, you know, I'm just gonna add a little animation. Even though it's not gonna move quite right, it's just gonna slide across the ground anyway, but you know, makes it look a little bit more lifelike, I guess, until you see it move. Don't need any of that. On event begin play, I'm just going to AI move it to, AI move to, get reference to self. The destination is going to be some get random racial point in radius. And the origin is going to be the actor location. Get actor location. And the radius being whatever you want it to be. So let's just say 1,000. And let me delay this. I could also do a retriggerable delay, but I just did this for whatever reason. Delay is how long it takes you to move to do whatever is next. In this case, it would just be moving to the next navigable point within the radius. And here you go. So that should work. I didn't change my target. Let me change this to the BP enemy I just created. BP enemy. Let me attach that to here. Attach the BP enemy to here. Compile, save, play. I don't have a nav. Okay. Well, I don't have a volume. So I need a nav mesh bounds volume. Let me zero this out and then just gonna scale this. If you hit the lock icon, it makes everything go together. X, Y, and Z. And this should be enough to carry it. So you need the navigable radius in order to move your AI. If you hit P, you can see where it can navigate to. So anything green is navigable. So now that's working, and he's rapidly going like a maniac. But the thing isn't shooting at him. So why is that? Let me think. I believe there's something on the turret itself, which I'm glad now that I did this whole enemy thing. I told people to leave earlier. I hope they don't listen to me. All right, let's see. So I think there's something in here that only, if you have it checked, only targets players. Only sends players. Right here, uncheck this. So now it'll target the enemy. And there it goes. Aiming at the enemy, shooting at it. And yeah, that's all I wanted to show. Thank you for watching. Sorry this was kind of all over the place. I do things spur of the moment when I can. So I don't really have a script or anything. But yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.